Thanks for watching Capital City News, your connection to Salt Lake City government. I'm your host, Poonam Kumar. On today's show, I'm up top at 111 Main, Salt Lake City's newest high-rise building. On our show today, we'll be interviewing Wendy Lee about the city's Elevate Buildings program. And our History Minute is about the underground Social Hall Heritage Museum. But first, let's start with our legislative update and look back. The City Council has identified needed changes in the city land use ordinances intended to minimize potential neighborhood impacts based on the Council's concerns about placement and size of two new homeless resource centers. Since site selection is a mayoral decision, the City Council requested the mayor announce sites for the facilities by October 10th. This would allow ample time for public engagement before any state legislative deadline. Councilmember Aaron Mendenhall and representatives from the city and county agencies gathered to talk about crime and safety on State Street in the District 5 neighborhood. The discussion, which included more than 200 people, centered around city goals for long-term success and working together with the community to brainstorm new solutions. The discussion between police and the community continues. The Salt Lake City Library hosted a panel discussion focusing on how citizens and police can work together to create a safe and peaceful space. As baseball season finishes up for the year, the Salt Lake Bees report more than 500,000 attendees to this year's games, the first time since 2013. Earlier this month, Council Chair James Rogers helped close the season, firing a pitch across the plate, taking home a game ball. Council's Derek Kitchen hosted a District 4 tour, welcoming the city's new Economic Development Director, Laura Fritz, to downtown, along with RDA Deputy Director Justin Bellevue. Salt Lake City Mayor Jackie Biskupski and other public officials gathered for a ribbon cutting to welcome 111 Main to the heart of downtown. This premier floor-to-ceiling glass building is also LEED Gold certified and will be home to many nationally and internationally known companies. Salt Lake City is committed to improving air quality, and buildings play an important role. Wendy Lee, the city's energy advisor, explains more about how the city is working to improve energy efficiency.
On a bad winter day, 40% of our NOx emissions come from area sources, which are our buildings and our residential structures. Buildings aren't often on people's minds when it comes to pollutants and emissions. So Elevate Buildings is an initiative that the city has started to kind of look at energy efficiency within these large commercial buildings. A lot of people, when you talk about buildings, you don't see a smokestack or a tailpipe, so you don't realize that they're actually emitting pollutants, GHG and air pollutants. But they are, just like your home, how you burn natural gas. Buildings also burn fuel, they use electricity, they contribute to some of our emissions here in the valley, both air pollutants and greenhouse gas. Air quality is definitely on a priority for the Department of Sustainability. We have a lot of different initiatives, and here in the city, we're helping buildings benchmark. We want to create a help center so that building owners and managers can come to us and say, hey, can you sign us up for this benchmarking? So we really want all of our buildings to be Energy Star labeled. We want to know how well we're doing. We can't really save if we don't measure our energy in the first place. We really want this to be an economic development piece as well. We don't want to put burdens on building owners, but this really is, it's a market solution because you get the data out there, and from that data, it kind of spurs action. Again, like I said, energy efficiency is a very cost-effective way. We're not installing solar panels, we're not installing renewable energy. We're just asking people to tune up their buildings and use less energy with the equipment that they already have. And that is a very short-term, effective solution that can be implemented right away. It could be implemented today if we wanted to. So if you want more information, or if you want to work with us, I would encourage people to go on SSO Green and really learn more about this, and to learn more about buildings and energy and how it really plays a role in our city.
And now it's time for our History Minute.
In 1852, the Mormon pioneers set to work building the first public recreation hall in the state. For 10 years, it served as the center of social life in Salt Lake City, hosting plays, dances, and any other sort of community gathering. In 1862, after the Salt Lake Theater was built, the Social Hall would spend the next 60 years changing functions. It served as a church building and a school for a time. In 1893, it became the first fully equipped gymnasium in Utah and boasted a library in the basement. In 1918, the Social Hall was renovated once more for use as a theater by the University of Utah. The building was restored and replastered, but this only lasted for a couple of seasons. A new tenant was sought, and when none could be found, the Social Hall was torn down in 1921. The building was forgotten until 1991, when workers building a tunnel beneath State Street discovered the original foundation of the building. It was decided that the foundation would be preserved and a museum built on site. Today, a glass and steel structure outlines the place where the Social Hall, the center of recreation in Salt Lake City, once stood. Today, a replica of the original Social Hall stands at This Is the Place State Park, giving visitors an idea of what life in the early days of Salt Lake City would be like.
That's it for this episode of Capital City News, where we do our best to keep you in the know. Tune in next time to stay up to date on all the latest. For SLC TV, I'm Poonam Kumar.